right, ladies and gentlemen, let us continue. This is the last part of the connected learning workshop and webinar, and we are going to begin with the modules and the breakout rooms and how to use them. But before we begin, let me tell you a few things. So this is what the website looks like. You are going to be exploring it a little bit more in a moment. This is, please remember, a work in progress. So not everything is available and not everything is completed yet. But some of the parts are already almost ready, and we are going to be sharing them with you. So you will see here, you've got the navigation tool where you can see that we are at the moment almost ready with 4 modules. Today we are going to explore food, culture, and travel, and you will be able to choose the breakout room and the topic that you want to join. So be ready to click when the time comes. You will also see that there are tech tools, resources for students, and resources for teachers over here. There's an IB English B extension, so the modules are quite flexible. They, as you can see over here, go all the way from A2 to about C1, but the IB English B extension also allows for extending and using the modules with students who are a little bit more proficient. We also have an I am done extension. Everybody has that one student who is really very fast and always is ready, and then of course when he or she does not have anything to do, they get in trouble. So we don't want to get them in trouble. We want to make sure that they are able to work on something substantive. So we are we're preparing for that as well. So over here on this main page, you will also see you have important information for students and important information for teachers, and also the tech tools for use in the modules. I'm not going to click through this right now, but you will be able to explore that in the breakout rooms. We, of course, have the food, culture, and travel topics that are going to be open to you. And also, we have a little bit of a video over here, which you will be able to see later on, okay? So I think that we are going to get started with the breakout rooms. Let me...
Yes, and before we disappear to the breakout rooms, I will be leading the...
if anyone is lost, don't worry. There will be someone taking care of us and redirecting if something goes wrong.
So I was the coordinator of the food module, and now we are finishing the residence, but our focus today will be food. That was the first module we created with my part of the team, and I'm very happy to share it with you. We have 20 minutes. I really think that this picture represents what's going to happen in the module that we've chosen. I will explain that why in a second. But before we start that, I wanted to show you where the whole work started. So if you take a look at this, you might be familiar with that if you are teaching in a Polish school, but I bet it's quite universal actually for teachers from different countries as well, because these are the vocabulary or range or topics that should be covered in the curriculum of Polish high school during the English as a foreign language lessons. So we have all decided with the team that our modules will be placed somewhere in this area. Each of the modules will be placed in one of these areas to make sure that the teachers, Polish and not only, can implement it into their regular lessons. So we really emphasize that the modules that we suggest should not only be something extracurricular, because on one hand, we always struggle with time. So we know that stealing 2 or 3 weeks of lessons could be challenging for the teachers and for the group to finish the program on time. And in the other hand, because we also believe that this choice that you can see on the screen is actually appropriate. Like, this is what we want to teach about anyway, yes, because these are the topics that are actually like applicable to our everyday life, and we need our students to be able to talk about that. But on the bottom you can see the main question that we face. So how can we find the intercultural approach in these topics? So of course, if you choose travels, that seems very easy, yes. But for some topics, it's much more challenging to make sure that what we do is actually have this feature of intercultural collaboration. And I'm going now to show you how we approach this topic and how we solve it. We're going to start with a short warm-up. So this is what we're going to do now. Very short one. It's not included in the module, but I think it will give you the idea of where we started, how our adventure started. So here you can see the picture of a traditional food from a country on Earth. What do you think? What country is it? Can you please write on chat, or you can just stay, because it's just 6 of us, so you can easily just stay. What do you think? What country does it come from? Do you have any?
I have no idea.
Is it fish in the first photo?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a dried fish.
Dried fish. No, I don't know.
Bread and butter. So I don't know.
But what kind of bread? Take a look. It's not a baguette. It's not a pita bread.
Like pumpernickel.
Yes, exactly. This kind of dark, heavy bread. So it's a food. That's not a surprise, I guess. It's a food from Iceland. So this kind of dried fish is something they eat with butter as a snack for a beer, for example. They take odłamują, I don't know how to say it in English. They crush like a part of the fish. They take the butter with it, put a little bit salt, and eat it as crisps. It has very fishy flavor, but a good one, because they don't the bread also is not so well quality. So this kind of dark bread is very popular because it has a good quality after all. So this is a traditional Icelandic food. The second slide will be definitely easier. What do you think? Where does this the food come from?
It's Polish cuisine.
Yes, of course. So this is a meat with rice, sometimes wrapped in the cabbage leaves and cooked together. And it has my favorite name, gołąbki, which is like small pigeons. That's strange. And the third question, where does this food come from? Maybe if you don't have any idea about the country, you can just say about the region.
Some Asian country.
Of course, yes.
I don't know exactly. Yeah, but this is a kind of a soup made of many different ingredients, and it looks quite complicated and delicious.
Yes. So I googled these photos today while typing the Lao traditional food, but it absolutely could be as well from Vietnam, from Thailand, from Cambodia, probably. Yeah. So it's Southeast Asian food. And Marta, you actually said this one magical word in your when you were speaking. You said you used this word that we all decided to focus about, and the word that you mentioned is ingredients. Because if we take
Oh,
a
wow.
look again, yes, if we take a look again at these 3 pictures, and you just think about the ingredients that you can see in this picture. So in this one, you've got this dried fish. So to prepare this kind of food, you need to have a lot of fish around. So that really seems like an island in the middle of the ocean. Then here, you both need meat and cabbage, which we get a lot in Poland during the summer, and it's a typical summer dish, and also for like autumn and spring as well. Sorry, and winter as well, because cabbage is easy to keep for a long time, and tomatoes are included. While here, if you take a look again, you've got so many ingredients that are local for Southeast Asia that we don't have in Europe. It's absolutely obvious to know that this food comes from that region. So we've got chilies. Yes, you can see the chilies in the soup. We've got the sprouts that are available in Europe, but we don't use them as often as in Asia. We've got different types of herbs, chilies again in the plate. So really, the availability of ingredients influences the choice of food that we used to eat in our countries and how the cuisine evolved. And that was our starting idea for the module that I would like to go through with you right now. So and that's why I said that this photo is really significant for what we're going to talk about, because it shows the ingredients. Yeah. So maybe before we start, I would like to just comment quickly on this one. This first topic, you can find here a lot of practical information for the teachers. What I like the most is that we also suggested that if the lessons 1, 2, and 3 are suitable for levels from A2 until C1, then the lessons 4, 5, and 6 are dedicated for the levels B1 and until C1, and the lesson 7 and 8 is the most difficult, challenging, but of course, everything can be adapted. So the idea of each of the modules that we work on is designed for approximately 8 lessons of 45 minutes. But we designed it in a way that a lesson, a period of time, can be used in classroom when students work together. So just a traditional lesson, or it could be a period of time working independently at home. Or, and think about that, it can be used for students to do when, for example, the teacher is not with us in the classroom. So we have this replacement issues when teachers are sick from times. You can even leave this kind of instructions for the replacing teacher, so he can just give the because the instructions in all of our modules are written for student, not for the learner. So each of these websites student can open and student can do, and so we are just the facilitators and the helpers. So the idea, so again, the first part was designed for about approximately 90 minutes of work. Yes, so it could be 2 lessons or like however you structure it. So the idea is that students choose one ingredient, not the dish, but the ingredient that is traditional, typical for his or her country, and they make, here are some guiding questions for the inquiry, because they actually have to do some research behind it, yes, and prepare. Just give me a second so I can see more. Yes, and prepare a video, a short video, 2 to 5 minutes, presenting the ingredient. And after it's done, the students, I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to show you. So after it's done, we're coming to the third lesson where students, and this is the moment when the international collaboration happens, because students exchange their ideas. And I would like to show you the examples of what students have done. I'm not sure if I shared the voice, so you have to tell me if you can hear that.
No, we can't.
Okay, so I will do it again. Share screen, and this time I will share the video as well. So these are just, the examples of what students.
Some of them are beetroots,
Yeah, that's fine.
cabbage, cucumbers, mushrooms, and potatoes, which I'm going to talk about. Potatoes are believed to have been brought to Poland by King John Sobieski III, but it was Paweł Wieczorek who planted them in the gardens of the Wilanów Palace.
So that was, in my opinion, quite interesting piece of knowledge that probably the student would rather never get if not for this students. Let's see an extract of another one.
Hi, my name is Zuzia, and I'm going to talk about one of the most important ingredients in our country. Of course, there are many important ingredients, such as beetroots, potatoes, bread, or pickles. But I'm going to talk specifically about mushrooms. And Poles are known for being, of course, the mud mushroom pickers. Probably I should start off by mentioning a crucial thing. Our national epic, Pan Tadeusz, which is written by Adam Mickiewicz.
And so on and so forth. So we've got here 5 examples of some of the students' work. And they uploaded their videos for Flip, which we recommend to use. And when it was the teachers established the deadline, and when it was the videos were available, students from collaborating school exchanged the links, and the third lesson. Sorry, because this is not in the right place. Okay, the third period, so the first lesson, was about watching each other's videos and answer some questions, write some comments. So I don't know if what do you think about these presentations? Was it anyhow interesting for you? What the girls were saying in the beginning? Do you think it's interesting for students?
I guess definitely yes, and their accent and everything they said was just on a high level, I would say. So
yeah. No, but I mean, like content wise, like if the topic, the topic was interested.
Yeah, I think they needed to put some effort into to get the information and then to share the information. So that's important. That it was a great job that they did, actually.
Yes, I totally agree with you. For sure, the entry point was not easy because, like, what can you say about potatoes? Like, to be honest, I wouldn't be able to say much. So I also would need to do some research. So I agree, Monica, with you that they needed to do the research. But just imagine that later on, they received similar videos about Icelandic teenagers talking about dried fish or sheep head cooked, as a traditional dish. So it was really interesting from this approach of interculturalism, yes, and that they've actually learned something about another country. Then that was the first part of the module. The second one, the third one, is very much again designed for 2 lessons, about 90 minutes. It's very much language orientated, because here we have a warm-up, the vocabulary set at vocabulary.com, and then we have a reading practice. So we have an article from the internet, from the National History Museum in London. They posted 11 extraordinary food article. So this is to read for students. It takes quite some time. It's a bit challenging, but they also have this. They have some tasks to do, and one of them, which I love the most, is to take a look at this. A table that helps a student to assess the reliability of this source. So to raise their awareness that whatever they find in the internet is not necessarily a good source of knowledge. And you have here listed the criteria for that. So after reading, and of course the model that we provide, so the article that I showed you before, it's from a very reliable source of information. But if we make them aware of this kind of criteria, we may hope that if they find, for example, any fake news in the internet, something might, ring a bell, and they may hopefully think about it. We have only, that's really bad, we have just 1 minute left, but this is the third part of the third stage. And the fourth one, that is probably the most exciting, is the extension. So the task for students is to first of all, decide which of the extraordinary food items they think would work well in their own country based on the knowledge that they gained in the first stage, right? Then, second of all, find a company or a startup that produce this kind of food. And third of all, write an email to them with the suggestion that maybe the company should start in their country because for some reasons they find it a good idea. And I'm afraid I will not have time to tell you much.
All right. I know that I cut off some people in the middle of the sentence. Sorry about that, Marta. But we were a little bit over with the time. That's perfectly fine. Let's try to talk about this, and perhaps you can write in the chat any possibility. So what we are going to try and do is talk about the modules and what you have heard, what you have learned, perhaps any questions that you might have. So let's have some of you write in the chat, or if you would like to speak and tell us what you think. Anyone?
Yes, so okay, now it's good. Sorry, we had some. So yes, I barely had a chance to show half of the module to my team culture, and there was much more waiting for you guys. For example, preparing a book. Yes, a book about your favorite artist. And that's like the end of our module, in which like the students use all the vocabulary they learned in lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they actually have a chance to share what is important for them in their native culture, with their local culture, with people from abroad. So this is the best way of learning, right? In which I'm finding out about some great Icelandic artists, because people from Iceland, students from Iceland, are sharing it with passion, yes, with engagement, with like, this is great, I love this artist. And there's this mutual exchange of energy as well, not only like just words. So I would love to hear from anyone from my team. How did you guys like the ideas that you saw? Please let us know. And the rest of the participants, give us your feedback, your impressions, how you guys feel about what you saw and heard in the chat, or if you would like to talk to us. Yes, raise your hand, yes, and then we will unmute you. Yes, is that the procedure data? Yeah. Yeah, so someone has just commented that the modules are creative and they aren't boring. And the best part is actually that the students are very often responsible what really is in the modules, right? Because they contribute their interest. So none of the students will complain that, oh, teacher, this material is boring, because it's their life. Yes, they're sharing their things with us. Okay, Elizabeth, speak to us. She's muted.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
All right. So yeah, I just wanted to speak in behalf of our team culture. I also would like to thank Martha for showing us what the culture, how does it look like. It's really interesting in a way that the students will never get bored, especially when you are going to interact with others as well. I'm also amazed how you try to, you try to collaborate all the tools that you can use in order for the students to also utilize all of those and like giving them the choices, not just limiting what we know or what we know, but also giving or opening the door for them to learn. And I think that's actually a very interesting thing. I would love to ask if is the module intended for the whole semester or a whole year?
I can answer. I can answer this. Hold on. The modules are 2 weeks.
All right, so it's just
okay. Maybe I can try. Okay, so yeah, 2 weeks of work, but I think it really also like depends how much time you have at your disposal, because as we were saying, the whole project is very flexible. If you don't have this time to do lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you can finish with lesson 5. Yes, or you can choose and, for example, adjusting the content to your national curriculum if you need to do it. Yes, so you can go through the lessons and see which ones you want to use, and you don't have to like follow everything, I would say.
All right,
so it's flexible.
Yeah. Thank you, that's really nice. That's all.
And I think another important thing to say is that if you choose to do one module, and then after some time, let's say, for example, one module in one semester, and then you have the second semester and you choose another module, the second module always goes very smoothly with the student, because the first time they do it, they're also learning in something new. They're getting out of their comfort zone, right? So they're maybe slower, more, they hesitate a little bit more. So they're not sure how to do things. But they go through the first module. The second one is already like, oh, we're familiar with this. We've had this experience. So it just goes, much, much easier for both students and the teachers. So it's really worth trying. And even if the first module doesn't go according to your plan and maybe isn't that great, you can still use it as a learning lesson. Yes, you can still be like, okay, guys, so this worked, this didn't work. So next semester, let's try one more module and let's try to do it better. Yes, or let's try to fix the mistakes that we did the first time. So it's another great lesson to show the students how life is about failing and redoing things and doing them better and better and better. So I think a great lesson. Do we have maybe more questions or impressions, reflections on the content of the modules or the way they were built?
Okay. Now it's working. So one of the things that I wanted to say about the modules is the role of the teacher. And the role of the teacher is the facilitator of that learning. And you're basically just guiding the students through the activities. Thank you, Elizabeth, for your question. about how long it takes, and Marta really explained it really well. The modules are very flexible, and many of the activities can be done as a class or individually or through the collaboration. Some of the activities are really collaborative, and that means that students get into multicultural international groups and build something together or create something together and then showcase it on, you know, on Padlet or in some other way, depending on what the module is and what the ideas are, right? One of the things that we have also added to each of the modules, and perhaps you have already seen them, and that is reflections. The reflections that students and yourselves will also be doing while you are learning, because that is also a very important way to being able to understand how we learn and the metacognition of learning, thinking about their own learning, and also reflecting on what went well and what didn't go so well and how we can improve it. So each time it is possible to improve. You're basically going to be the supporters of learning. The shift of the ownership of learning is to the students, and they are therefore empowered, and as a result, they are more engaged in their learning. Okay? So those are the things that we have been aiming at. Now, I think that it is high time to tell you how to join. So let me share the screen again. Okay, so there we go. We have the information on how to join. Joining can happen through the Facebook group, because that is where we will be connecting. But before we do that, I hope you haven't grabbed the QR code yet. Okay, because Monica, I can see you grabbing the thing, but I skipped a slide. We would love to hear from you. You know, this is a very short, just 3 questions or maybe 4 reflection survey. So please go into this one first. Okay. So this is the QR code. Please answer the questions, and also Ada, can you copy paste the link to the chat, please? It is a very easy link. You can also type it in. Okay, it's in the chat. So just a few questions. The feedback is actually a requirement for us. Okay, so it's just collecting your emails and a couple of scales. Okay, and it is going to be joining the Facebook group that is going to get you into the collaboration. Okay, so that's why there's a question about how likely are you to join this Facebook group. All right, so thank you very much. And now is the Facebook group QR code, which you can, of course, join. And Ada, if you would be so kind to copy the link to the Facebook group as well into the chat. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, so what is happening on the Facebook group? If you don't have Facebook, contact us if you don't have Facebook, because this is where we are trying to get the teachers to collaborate. If you don't have Facebook, but you could get Facebook, that would actually be nice. You don't actually have to have like a whole, big page, but just for the purpose of joining this group. Why? Because what we are trying to do is to make this collaboration self-guided. What we're hoping is that the Facebook group is going to be a dynamic place where you can post, for example, at the beginning of a semester, I would like to collaborate on the culture unit from the first week of October to the middle of October. Who's game? right? And so when you post this, you've got maybe somebody from the Philippines, maybe somebody from Argentina, maybe somebody from Romania who will say, that's perfect for me. Let's get together. You see, and that's the beauty of this. Okay, at the moment we have 134 teachers on this Facebook group. Some of them have already collaborated on the testing of the modules, and in September, October, we will begin that collaboration. We're going to walk you through it first. We're going to be there to help you set it all up. You will see how it is done. And then perhaps in another moment, maybe in November or December, we will have another session. We will be adding the modules and the topics because, as you saw, they are not completely ready yet. They will be. We're hoping that we're going to have 6 modules finished by September, and then have 2 more by December. But, you know, fingers crossed. This is, of course, as you can imagine, on top of all of our full-time jobs. So it is taking some time, but we're working very hard to do this. Okay. So that's what we have for you. So the link is in the chat for the Facebook group and for the feedback. And that is the last slide. All right.
You wanted to continue for another
right.
hour.
And certificates, yes. Okay. You will get a certificate of participation in the breakout rooms. We have some gadgets. We told you that we do have some gadgets. So we are going to very randomly choose some names and try to contact you how to send them to you. Okay, so I think that is about it, and we are very, very happy that you joined us. Do we have rubrics? Yes, Elizabeth, there will be rubrics. There are some already, but there will be rubrics. There will also be a lot of PD and information about metacognition, about some things. If you're not rushing off, I can show you. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is the important teacher information. I don't know if you were actually able to see it in the breakout rooms, but this is the kind of information that you are going to be getting once it loads up. Hold on, it's coming. And that is, the setup, the way how it's going with hyperlinks, of course, and also information, what the students are doing, what the teachers are doing, and what the students are doing. As you can imagine, every link is another document that is helpful to you. There's an example of letter to parents. There's an example of netiquette. There's an example of important information for students, how to give feedback, because of course the students are providing comments and feedback to each other. So you will be able to use this information as well. And also when they are working in groups, they need to learn the effective intercultural collaboration and negotiation, language of negotiation as well. So everything is connected. Anything that is being used in the modules themselves is actually there for you as resources for students. For example, we'll show you there is netiquette and commenting online, agreeing and disagreeing. Also, how to learn lateral reading, for example, and the language of negotiation, how to make recordings. If they have never made recordings, then there are also some tips there. Okay, so there is a lot of information that you can use either with the modules or for anything else that you might want.
So we really invite you to go to our website and just be a guest there and discover what's there deeper and deeper, even before you start really the collaboration of students, the online international and intercultural collaboration.
So we want to thank you once again, and let's stay in touch and let's connect and keep learning. And our students can keep learning as well.
Yeah, and we hope that your lessons will never be forgotten after you enter this kind of cooperation. So be brave, try things out, and it will be good for your students.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done,
Thank you, lots of such opportunities.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.